Right, welcome to a new video. 3 races, 3 days. But before we go into the details, as ever, hit that subscribe button and let's roll the intro. Zoom. So, 3 races, 3 days. Race number 1 is Lochgelly in Fife. Race number 2 is in Leeds for the Albarossa Friday nights. And then race number 3 back in Middlesbrough, Saturday afternoon. Yeah, so Lochgelly, Cat 3-4, 40 odd minutes. Albarossa Friday night, Cat 4. Middlesbrough, Cat 4 again. Looking to do well, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We haven't never raced 3 days in a row, and we're obviously on the road, so we're in the car. We're going to spend a lot of time in the car, living out of a hotel room, and yeah, it's going to be fun. So, race number 1 is done. 40 minutes Lochgelly, Cat 3-4. Yeah, rubbish. Absolute rubbish race. It was super, super windy tonight. Tried to go with the front group, and I was with them. A couple of laps in, and they took off, and I tried to go, and yeah, just nothing in the legs strong enough to hold on to that bunch in the wind. So ended up riding 2 up with another rider, just essentially taking a lap each for the remainder of the race. And then, just as it turned out, everyone got 3 laps to go, and the pattern in which we were taking our turns meant that I was going to be on the front for the final lap. So yeah, I had to open up the sprint first. Slight uphill, slight tailwind. Actually, no. uphill, headwind, cross, and yeah, he rolled me in the sprint. He beat me by about half a wheel, so we nearly got 10th place. Anyway, so onwards and upwards. Now, you can see behind me, we've got some cooking going on. Because we're travelling tomorrow down to Leeds, staying in Leeds, and then heading over to Middlesbrough for Saturday, and then heading down to Wales for Sunday. We've got to do all our fueling and take it with us. So what we're making just now is some ratatouille, and that will form the basis of our dinner. Our pre-meal is pretty much sorted. It's the same as last week, so it's going to be 2 thins with strawberry or raspberry jam. I can't remember what we've got. So two sandwich thins with jam, 1 sandwich thin with egg, 300 mils of fruit juice, and a couple of portions of the British Cycling rice squares that we made. So we've got them in the freezer from last week. Need to take them out and defrost them. So that'll be our pre-meal, which tomorrow will essentially be our sort of mid-afternoon snack. Saturday, essentially, it'll be our breakfast. So then all we need to do is sort out our dinner. So, as I say, the ratatouille here cooking behind me, which is basically some courgettes, some carrots, some red pepper, some sugar snap peas and some mushrooms. We've also put in some kidney beans and obviously tomato sauce, tomato puree. It's about 180 calories per serving. There's going to be 3 servings, so it's going to be a really big serving. And then what we'll do is we'll just pick up some meat to go with that. Or, I haven't decided yet, I might actually... I might cook off some salmon, which we've got in the fridge, and we'll take the salmon. So that'll be our protein element of that meal. So yeah, we just need to finish off our meal for tonight and start packing the bag. 3 days worth of packing. That's a lot of kit. So, day 2 is the Albarossa Friday night crit. And we're outside Leeds, in a little place called Boddington. We're at the University of Leeds, the Brownlee Centre. So it's the triathlon, team sports, cycling. Beautiful little place. We will go and have a little wander around. We've just arrived. Absolutely horrific journey down. We left later than we should have done. And... every man and his dog seems to be in the car today. Fortunately, all of the really bad traffic was going north. However, we did have to divert through the Tyne Tunnel because the traffic on the outskirts of Newcastle was going to make us very, very late. So I hate arriving late to an event. So we came through the Tyne Tunnel. But yeah, so we're here now. As I said, it's the Albarossa Friday night crit. It's Cat 4, 40 minutes. And yeah, looking forward to a good result. Fingers crossed. Obviously, last night's Spokes crit wasn't that great. It was split into 2 groups. The second group was really heavily stacked. The first group was very light on numbers, but that said, it was predominantly Cat 3s. Very, very windy. They took off. I tried to go with them. I was with them for a little bit. But as you can see on my Xert graph here, my MPA was dropping so severely, so quickly that I had to ease off and just let them go, because I would have blown up within minutes if I carried on at that pace. I then rode 2 up with another individual, and unfortunately he eased in front by about half a wheel on the sprint and edged me out of the top 10. So 11th place last night, not bad. Could have been a lot better, should have been a lot better. So all to play for tonight, and then obviously tomorrow for day 3. But we're here now, time to focus on day 2, race number 2. We've got our numbers, we're 143, we've got our chip to put on the bike, we've got the bike to get set back up because it's in pieces in the back of the car, because we've also got the track bike because of Sunday, and yeah, we better start getting ready. Living the rock star dream. It's 9:30. We're in our jammies. We're in the hotel room. Before we talk about today's race, first of all, we've got to deal with the kit. So here's a little tip for you. Now, we've never tried it with the skin suit, but the theory should work the same. So we've washed this in the shower with us. What we're going to do is we're going to lay out a towel. It's quite hard to do with one hand. And then we're going to lay the skin suit out on the towel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll the towel up. Okay, so we roll that as tight as we possibly can into a sausage. Then we're going to take either end, we're going to twist it, and we're going to twist it, and we're going to twist it. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're wringing the water out into the towel. It's a very thick towel. Ugh. Lack of muscles, I think. The tighter you can twist it, the better it is for the drying process. Now that is almost dry. What we'll do is we'll just hang this like that, inside out, over the bike, and tomorrow it'll be dry and ready to use. So, Albarossa. Really good circuit. Difficult. Uphill drag, start finish line. Up round the corner. Flattens out a little bit. Next little corner there's an actual tiny little ramp, you can feel it. It then flattens. You've got a hairpin, and then downhill, sweeping right-hander, very, very fast. Quite a few riders, including myself, nearly overcooked that corner. Coming downhill, wind assisted. All the way down the back straight, you've then got a sweeping left-hander. It then flattens out. Pretty much at the end of that corner, you've then got a left-right, and then you're back onto the start-finish line, drag, cross, headwind. So yeah, interesting race. Couple of attacks went out early. I was up at the front. Spent most of the race right in the middle of the pack. Sometimes moving to the front, sometimes moving to the back of the pack. One crash, I don't know, 4 or 5 laps in. It happened behind me, so there was nothing for me to avoid, thankfully. Unfortunately, some guy broke his collarbone. That is unfortunately part and parcel of racing, the risk of crashing. However, you know, crashes happen because people are taking risks, or people are not in proper control of their machine. And yeah, there's not much more to be said about that. Crashes happen because of human error. There were a couple of pedal strikes in front of me, one drop chain. Because of that crash, I think people were a little bit on edge. So the middle of the bunch felt a little bit risky. So I'll be honest, my racing technically was not the best. There were gaps that I could have gone into. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't, because I didn't feel comfortable in the bunch, particularly with some riders. There was 1 or 2 riders that when they were near me, I was like, I'm not convinced. One guy in particular was moving about all over the place. So I was trying to avoid him whenever I possibly could. So anyway, 50-minute race. I never even saw the lap board go up. They gave us 5 laps to go as they normally do in a crit. I never even saw that happen. I do know that what I guess realistically turned out to be the final 3 laps was on, and I was pretty much on the limit. Unfortunately, when it came to the bell, and I heard the bell, and I was sitting, I was all right. I was maybe somewhere, 15th to 20th, maybe. Heard the bell, obviously saw people attacking. I clicked it up a gear, out the saddle, tried to go, and I just royally blew. I got maybe a dozen pedal strokes, and my legs just went. That's pretty much how they felt. And that was it. Race over. I couldn't do anything, because on that start-finish straight, slight uphill drag, slight cross headwind, and with the legs going, there was just no power, and I just watched the bunch ride off in front of me, and unfortunately finished on my own. That's bike racing. I do think today's race was better. Looking at my Xert profile, I was on the limit quite a bit, especially with these little surges and following the surges, and sometimes moving up because of my poor positioning. Sometimes I'm having to surge to get back into position where I want to be, and sometimes I'm pushing myself up to the front, because you're conscious that somebody at any point might make a break. And there was a couple of breaks. Now, to be honest, I wasn't jumping on them, because some of them, when they were going, I was thinking, nah, they'll come back. I don't need to follow this. Like, for instance, I started on the front, and straight away 2 riders jumped off the front, on the first lap. And I started to go with them, and then I hung back, and I thought, what's the point? 2 riders, first lap, going for it, 50-minute race. Nah. So I just basically, I soft pedaled a little bit, and just waited for the rest of the bunch to catch up, which didn't take long, obviously. And then that attack came to nothing. There was an attack later on coming up the start finish line on the outside. That stuck for a while, but then came back. It was a two up attack, but that came back. So yeah, bunch sprint for the finish. Unfortunately, I wasn't in it, but pretty happy. Normalised power of 281. Bearing in mind our threshold at the moment, about 267. So I'm happy with 281 normalised. Intensity factor was 1.05, I reckon. So, yeah, pretty happy. But now, it is the wonderful salmon and ratatouille that I made. Obviously, all of the food I'm eating, I've got with me. And yeah, that's it. It's living the dream. 5 to 10 at night, I'm going to eat this. I'm already in my jammies. The skin suit's drying over there on the bike, and I'm knackered. So I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to get to bed, and I will see you tomorrow for day 3, race 3. It's looking a little bit overcast just now, but pretty sure that's going to clear and it's going to be a good day for racing. Bike maintenance done. Now it's time for breakfast / pre-fuel. Pre-race fuel. So 2 thins with raspberry jam, 2 rice squares, some mango juice and a banana.
At Junction 1, take the A6110 exit to Leeds West A62.
So back in the car again. That's race 3, day 3 done. An interesting race. I'll stick all the power data up on the screen for you. But yeah, that was tough. Much harder than yesterday's race. It was almost like a Zwift race in the sense that it kicked off straight away and it stayed hard for a good 10-15 minutes, and then it eased off. But when I say eased off, it was still hard. There was lots of people surging, but nobody really trying to work with the surges, so they all kept coming back together. I did lose the main pack with 11 laps to go, and I battled for 2 laps to get back on. I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but I kept pushing, I kept fighting, and I got back. And then, so that's with 9 laps to go. When it came to 1 lap to go, I thought, it's now or never. You've got to be aggressive. Try it. So I stood up and I tried to kick, and there was just, the legs went, no, sorry, not happening. And that was it. Game over. So 3rd race in 3 days, no result, but a good hard training session, and certainly good positives to take from how we were racing. So back in the car, we're now heading to the southwest. With the exception of the journey home, this is probably the longest leg of our little trip. We're heading to the southwest down to Bristol, where we're going to stay overnight with our teammate Chris, who was recently crowned the national para champion for the tandem in the road race. So congratulations to him and his pilot. But yeah, we're going to stay overnight with Chris, and then we will jump across the border into Newport, where we'll do a velodrome session with Jason on Sunday afternoon, and then we'll journey home. So on this journey, we've obviously left Yorkshire. We've gone through Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, the home of Robin Hood, Leicestershire. We're now coming through the National Forest. Interesting to see how many different shires we're going to pass through. There's another one to add to the list. Warwickshire, Shakespeare country. Day 4, PDQ session at Odddown. We've jumped in with Jason. He's with the Chew Valley Cycle Club, doing some cycling drills, some echelons, some cornering drills, some intervals, and yeah, it's 23 degrees. The legs are feeling tired now. You know, that's 3 days in a row. We do have, in a couple hours' time, we do have a session on the velodrome as well, so we'll just pull to one side, we'll wait for the group to come through and we'll jump back on again, because we are starting to feel it a little bit. 26 degrees in Bath just now, absolutely stunning. It's just a shame we don't have any time to hang around and to do a little bit of sightseeing. Pretty much that's been the story of this week. It's a whistle stop tour of 3 different countries, multiple counties. And yeah, we're now heading towards Wales, trying to head towards Wales. There's a lot of traffic. We need to get through the centre of Bath on towards the M4, which will take us across the border into Wales for the velodrome. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful weather. It's such a shame that we're stuck in a car. Getting ready. Side